At my husband's promotion party, everyone was toasting him. He's loyal, reliable, a man of honor. I smiled, nodded. Then someone handed him a card with a flash drive inside. He looked confused. Until I said, "Play it." It was footage of him from hotel hallways, parking garages, even the back of our minivan. I'd hired a PI 6 months ago. He dropped his glass. His boss just said, "You should have stayed faithful, not just punctual." His raise got revoked. I got the house in full custody. He got to sleep on his sister's couch. We lived in Charleston, South Carolina. A pretty neighborhood, quiet, trees lining the streets. We had a 3-bedroom house, a black Honda Odyssey, and 2 kids, Mason and Ellie. People said we looked like the perfect couple. Maybe we did. I thought we were, for a while. But I was wrong. My husband Jason was in logistics. The kind of job that didn't sound exciting but made good money. He was sharp, knew how to talk to people. Always made others feel like he was in control. He was climbing fast at work. He loved that. I was a middle school teacher. I loved my job, but it was tiring. Still, I showed up every day. For the kids, for my students, for him. Things started to feel off about a year ago. He was coming home later and later, saying things like, "Got pulled into a client dinner," or "Gotta help out on a warehouse audit." I believed him. He'd always been dependable. Or at least, he seemed that way. Then one night, his phone buzzed while he was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. It was just there on the sink. A message popped up from someone saved as K. It read, "Same room as last time?" I stared at it. My heart dropped. I didn't open it. I just sat on the edge of the tub until he got out. He saw me there and smiled like everything was normal. Kissed my forehead. Said, "Long day." That was the night I stopped trusting him. At first, I told myself it could be a joke, maybe a work thing. But it didn't sit right. I didn't want to explode over nothing. I also didn't want to be the woman who looked the other way while her husband played around. I reached out to someone I hadn't talked to in years, Trish. We went to college together. She'd gone into private investigations after some bad marriage of her own. She'd told me once, people lie, but they're lazy about it. I called her. She didn't sound surprised. "You want me to follow him?" she asked. Yes. She got started that week. She tailed him after work, tracked his movements, documented everything. 3 weeks in, she sent me a clip. Jason was outside a hotel off I-26, hugging a tall brunette. Not just a friendly hug. Hands on her waist. Lips on her neck. I watched it alone in the dark, sitting on our living room couch. The same one we picked out together when we bought the house. The kids were asleep upstairs. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I planned. Trish kept digging. Over the next 4 months, she sent me everything. Photos, videos, receipts. He met the same woman in 3 different hotels. Once, he drove our minivan to meet her, parked it in a quiet marina lot, and they went at it in the back seat. The same minivan I drove the kids in. The same one with a car seat still strapped in the back. That's when something broke inside me. I didn't confront him. I kept acting normal. Packed school lunches. Helped with homework. Slept next to him. I wanted to explode, but Trish told me, "Wait. Be smart. Don't waste this on a yelling match. Make it matter." Jason was working toward a big promotion at work. Regional director. It was a huge step up. He was obsessed with it. He ironed his shirts more. Practiced speeches in the mirror. Kept saying, "When this happens, we'll be golden. It's the final stretch." I smiled. Nodded. "You deserve it," I told him. The company threw a celebration party at a rooftop bar downtown when he officially got the promotion. Everyone came. His coworkers, his parents, clients. He rented a suit. Got a haircut. Looked sharp. You'd never think he was the kind of guy who'd crawl into the back of a van with a woman while his kids waited at home. I wore a black dress. Simple, classy. I didn't want to be the center of attention. Just the one who'd quietly flipped the entire night upside down. The party was going great for him. People gave toasts. They called him a man of honor, reliable, loyal. I smiled through every lie. I drank water. I needed my head clear. I had arranged something with the bar's tech guy. I'd called days before, told him I needed to share a surprise video during the event. Told him I'd slip him a flash drive when it was time. I watched Jason hold his glass, talking to a client. I walked over and handed him a card. A plain envelope. He looked confused. "What's this?" he asked. "Just something for the promotion," I said, smiling. He opened it. Inside was the flash drive. He looked back at me, puzzled. Play it, I said. My voice didn't shake. He hesitated, but then walked toward the setup at the side of the room. People followed him with their eyes, curious, expecting a funny slideshow or some home video. Instead, they saw hotel surveillance footage. Him, the woman, her arms around his neck, him sneaking into side doors, kissing her in hallways, laughing, disappearing into rooms. Then another cut, parking lot footage. Then the minivan. People went silent. Someone gasped. His boss, the senior VP, just stared. His mother looked like she'd been slapped. Jason turned to me, pale as a ghost. What the hell is this? I didn't raise my voice. I stepped forward and said, "This is who you are." While you were telling everyone how loyal you are, I was collecting the truth. Someone at the back whispered, "Jesus Christ." Jason's hands trembled. His boss said, loud enough for people to hear, "You should have stayed faithful, not just punctual." Jason stood frozen. Couldn't even talk. I walked out. Calm. Quiet. I got in the minivan, the same one he used for his little adventures. I had it professionally cleaned after that. Twice. I filed for divorce the next day. With all the evidence, I got full custody of the kids, the house, child support, and even spousal support. The judge barely looked at him. He was a shadow of the man he pretended to be. He lost the promotion. HR restructured. His raise was gone. He tried to appeal. Didn't matter. Now, he lives with his sister in a rental house on the outskirts of Mount Pleasant. Last I heard, she's sick of him too. I still see his parents sometimes when they pick up the kids. They don't say much. Just bring snacks, talk about school. As for me, I sleep better now. But this isn't the end. The weeks after the party were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and silence. Jason tried calling me a few times. Left voicemails. They started angry, "You blindsided me, you ruined my life," then turned pitiful, "Can we just talk? Please." For the kids. I didn't answer. I had nothing left to say. But he didn't go quietly. About a month after the divorce was filed, I started getting calls from the school. Mason was acting out. Ellie had started wetting the bed again. My heart sank. I thought I was protecting them by staying silent, but the truth had slipped into their world whether I liked it or not. Then came the custody hearing. I had the upper hand, clear proof of infidelity, a stable home, full-time income. But Jason wasn't stupid. He brought in his own lawyer. One of those sharp, young types who smiles with no warmth. They tried to paint me as vengeful and manipulative. Said I humiliated Jason in public, damaged his career. Said I was emotionally unstable and weaponized the children to hurt him. I sat there listening, jaw tight. My lawyer pushed back hard, laying out the facts, showing the timeline, even submitting a sworn affidavit from Trish. But it was still brutal to sit through, like they were taking parts of me and twisting them into something ugly. The judge granted me full physical custody, but Jason got generous visitation rights, every other weekend and Wednesday dinners. He didn't deserve it. But the court believed in maintaining parental bonds. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I nodded, swallowed it. Jason started using his time with the kids to get to me. He'd send messages through Mason. "Dad says you're still angry, that you're keeping us from him." Ellie would come home crying, saying, "Why don't you want to be with Daddy anymore?" I'd sit with them, hold their hands, and say, "Mommy and Daddy had grown-up problems. It's not your fault. You were so loved." Jason didn't stop there. He started showing up to school events uninvited. T-ball games, music nights, even classroom volunteer days, things he never cared about before. He'd act polite in front of teachers and other parents, but he'd always find a way to pull me aside. "You think you won? Look at them. They're hurting," he whispered once, during Ellie's school play. "You're doing this." I said nothing, just walked away. Then something worse happened. One night, after picking up the kids from a visit, I found a necklace in Mason's backpack, a silver one with a small heart charm. It wasn't mine. I didn't wear jewelry like that. When I asked Mason about it, he shrugged. "Dad's friend gave it to Ellie." "Which friend?" He looked down. "Kay. The woman. Her." That was my line. I contacted my lawyer and requested a hearing to limit visitation. I said I didn't want that woman near my children. My lawyer agreed it was risky behavior. Exposing the kids to someone involved in an affair, especially so soon. But then Jason fought back hard. He claimed I was turning the kids against him. He wanted joint custody now. It was war. I had to bring Trish back in. She followed Jason again, but this time with a new purpose, to prove Kay was staying overnight during the kids' visits. We needed proof he was putting them in unstable environments. Trish delivered. She caught Jason and Kay taking the kids to a bar-style restaurant at 10:30 p.m. On a Friday. Ellie looked half asleep in the footage. Later that weekend, she tracked them back to a hotel room. The kids were inside. Kay was drinking wine on the bed. My lawyer presented it in court. The judge was not pleased. Jason lost overnight rights for the time being. Visitation was now supervised. But Jason didn't take it well. He started spreading rumors in the neighborhood. Said I was unstable. Said I used sex to manipulate people. One day, I got a message from a parent at Mason's school, asking if everything was okay, because they'd heard some things. I didn't want to play dirty, but he left me no choice. I gave Trish the green light to dig deeper, not just about the affair, but about his work, his finances, anything he was hiding. She found something, and it was big. Jason hadn't just cheated. He'd also lied on company expense reports. He'd been charging business dinners that were really dates. Even hotel stays under client names. Trish got copies. She even talked to one of his coworkers who quietly confirmed it had been going on for years. I sat on that info, waiting, because this time, I wasn't going to show it in a courtroom. I was going to show it to his boss. I didn't go straight to the company. I waited, watched. Trish kept following Jason, collecting every shady move. He started seeing Kay less and less in public. Maybe because of the court restrictions, maybe because things were cracking between them too. But now he was slipping in other ways. His appearance changed, beard growing patchy, shirts wrinkled, showing up late to exchanges with the kids. He looked like someone trying to keep it together, but losing grip. Then one Thursday morning, I got an email. It was from a woman named Brianna. Subject line, I think we've both been lied to. She'd found me through a mutual contact at the school. Her nephew played soccer with Mason. She said she had been seeing Jason casually for a few months, but things weren't adding up. He claimed to be divorced with full custody, said I was unstable, and that he was rescuing the kids from a toxic home. She only started to suspect something after he asked her for a small loan to cover a car payment because I'd supposedly drained him. I stared at that email for a long time. I called her that night. We talked for nearly 2 hours. She wasn't angry at me, she was disgusted with him. She sent me screenshots of messages. Photos. One picture showed Jason standing in her apartment holding a wine glass. The same week he told the court he was too emotionally overwhelmed to take the kids. He had lied in court. That was my next move. My lawyer filed a motion to re-examine visitation and claim emotional manipulation. The screenshots from Brianna, plus Trish's footage, gave the judge more than enough. Jason was put under court-mandated supervision for all exchanges. He had to take parenting classes. He wasn't allowed to introduce any romantic partners to the kids without written permission from both sides. But I wasn't done. Trish helped me draft an anonymous package, documents, screenshots, timelines. We mailed it directly to Jason's company headquarters, addressed to HR and the ethics department. 2 weeks later, I heard through a friend of a friend, Jason had been fired. Violated company expense policy. That's all they told him. He tried to play victim, said he was being punished for a personal matter. But the company had seen enough. He was escorted out. That same week, Jason called me at night. He never called anymore, only texted. This time, I answered. You did this, he said. His voice was shaking, but low, not yelling. You cost me my job, my kids, everything. I stayed quiet. Why? He said. You could have just left. Why destroy me? I finally spoke. Because you didn't just cheat. You kept lying. Even after. Even to them. You never stopped. I was desperate, he muttered. I hung up. I should have felt satisfaction. And part of me did. But there was something else under it. Not guilt. Not regret. It was anger. That he got this far. That I ever trusted him with our lives. Then came the twist I didn't expect. Jason's sister, Monica, showed up at my door. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept in days. We need to talk, she said. Monica sat at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug she didn't drink from. I stood, arms crossed, staring at her like she might explode. I know you probably don't want me here, she started. You're right, I said. She nodded. But I thought you should know. Jason's in trouble. More than you think. I didn't say anything. She leaned in, voice lower. He's been drinking. A lot. Lost his job, can't pay rent. He's behind on child support. I've been covering it. Barely. That caught my attention. You've been sending the checks? She nodded. He doesn't know I told you. He's embarrassed. But it's more than that. He's talking crazy. Saying he wants to make it right, but also saying things like, burn it all down. He's angry. Real angry. He should be, I said flatly. At himself. Monica looked at me, tired eyes searching mine. I'm not excusing him. What he did, it was ugly. But I've never seen him like this. I think he's close to breaking. I thought you should know, in case the kids, I held up a hand. He's not getting near them. She stayed another 10 minutes. Gave me some paperwork, overdue bills in Jason's name, some hospital forms, even a warning letter from the state about unpaid taxes. When she left, I stood alone in my kitchen, holding the mess he created. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt poisoned. Like even winning still tasted like ash. A week later, I got a call from the local sheriff's department. Jason had been picked up for DUI. He crashed his sister's car into a guardrail near Ravenel Bridge. No one else was hurt. He was drunk, rambling, said he had nothing left to lose. They asked if I wanted to file a no-contact order. I said yes. That night, I sat on the couch with Mason and Ellie. They were watching cartoons. I stared at their faces, their soft eyes, their trust. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Guilt. Not for what I did to Jason, but for staying with him so long. For letting him infect our life quietly while I tried to pretend everything was okay. I let my kids believe in someone who didn't deserve them. Jason's fall was slow, then sudden. He went through court-ordered rehab, violated probation, spent 48 hours in lockup for unpaid child support. I didn't tell the kids. Just said, Daddy's away for a little while. He never got back on his feet. Kay left him. Brianna blocked him. Monica finally kicked him out after he pawned their late father's watch. The last I heard, he was living out of a cheap rental room off Rivers Avenue, working part-time at a hardware store. He looked gaunt, hair thinner, eyes sunken, like someone who saw the end of the road and just kept walking anyway. Years passed. I rebuilt. I finished my master's, switched to high school teaching, got promoted to assistant principal, found my peace again in early mornings and quiet drives to work. The kids stopped asking about him. One day, Ellie came to me and asked, Do you think Daddy will ever be better? I knelt beside her and said, I hope so, but it's not your job to fix him. She nodded, and then she never asked again. I still have the flash drive. It's in the back of a drawer, buried under old tax papers and warranties. I haven't watched it in years, but I keep it, not for revenge, not for proof, but as a reminder. You can give someone your whole life, and they'll still throw it away. So when the truth shows up, don't wait. Don't make excuses. Don't tell yourself it's love when it's really fear. Tell the truth. Then light the match. And walk away.